Tellico Village Broadcasting, your source of programming highlighting active lifestyles in our beautiful surroundings.
Hi, and welcome to this edition of the POA Board Update. My name is Beth Kaburka, and I'm the Marketing Communications Director for the Property Owners Association. And with me today, I have Board President Rick Blough. Welcome, Rick.
Why, thank you. I'm certainly glad to be here. Since our last update, the board has held its regular January meeting and has moved to its new schedule starting on February 5th. You may recall that the board will now hold two official meetings each month on the first and third Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. in the Yacht Club. This was done because of the board's workload and to allow for broader community participation.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot going on for sure. And one of the hot topics recently has been the Asian silver carp. What can you tell us is going on with that?
As you know, the board recently heard a presentation from Dr. Timothy Joseph about the potential impacts of the Asian silver carp on the East Tennessee water ecosystem, its economy, and water recreation activities. In its discussions of the 2020 objectives, the board has identified this issue as a high priority. Not only will it be a board objective, but we have already formed a board committee tasked with developing a work plan to research the issue, ferret out what other agencies and communities are doing, and to form a strategy for Tellico Village involvement. At this point, we've only heard one person's take on the issue. The committee is being chaired by Pat White.
Awesome. Well, I know that property owners are excited and thankful that the board has taken this seriously and that you've put a committee together and that you all are going to stay on top of it and get all the facts and present back to the community periodically. The next big thing that has been in discussion for many months is Rover Run Dog Park. What can you tell us? Have they finally landed a home?
Yes, they finally have a home. After months of trying to find a new home for the dog park, we've finally settled on the Tugaloo area, across the parking lot from the A, B, and C docks. The new park will be a little over 1.3 acres and it's located on the right side of the entry road. It's a win-win for everybody. The new site is centrally located, it has parking, it has a restroom, and it has utilities. From a POA perspective, having the dog park there increases traffic in the area, which results in better security. The board approved the lease for the land at its last meeting, and rough grading should occur soon. Rover Run crew expects to be in by the end of March.
Well, that's awesome. I know that they're very happy with their new location, and they have bathrooms and paved roads, so it's a win-win for sure. Next up on our agenda was the HOA. What do they have going on so far this year?
Well, they have a new president, as I said in the last time we had an update, and his name is Ken Litke, and he presented their 2020 strategic goals to the board in January. These are to implement advocacy strategies, keep HOA members informed, improve efficiency of HOA roles because they are volunteers, and promote implementation of community management best practices. More details on what they're doing are available on their HOA website. But speaking of goals, the POA board is in the process of establishing its objectives for 2020. As you might expect, the first pass was very ambitious. We're working at making it a manageable list of strategic items. As I said before, we are already working on one objective concerning the Asian carp issue. I expect that we will roll out the board's objectives to the community over the next month.
Well, I know that I'm looking forward to seeing what those are and working with the board to accomplish any that are in my realm. Some of the other things that we have going on that are kind of really important is in the public works arena. What can you give us an update on with the public works?
Well, I'm glad you asked because we have three major projects going on right now. As you're all aware, the 2020 budget calls for a new water tank in the north end of the village. This was a project that was called for in the original Tellico Village plans. Its time has come as we continue to grow. We just approved and signed the deed for the property transfer from Cooper Communities. And by the way, this land was provided at no cost to the village. Jeff Gagley and his folks are working on the initial phases, which include the geophysical and geotechnical surveys, the initial foundation design, and the actual tank design. Construction's expected to start around mid-year. The budget also has $220,000 earmarked for a new wave attenuator at the Yacht Club. You know, 6 months ago, I didn't know what a wave attenuator is.
Neither did I.
But by the way, if you have a marina and you don't have it, your docks are in jeopardy. Public Works is working with an expert in this area to determine the optimal fix to either replace or repair the current equipment. The $220,000 would be for a total replacement. The project should be complete before the boating season starts up in earnest. Finally, the roofing project at the Wellness Center is progressing, but at a slower rate than originally projected. This is due to the fact that as of 2 weeks ago, we had already experienced 24 rain days. Judging by last week, that number is going to go up. Nevertheless, the pool should reopen shortly and operations are pretty much normal.
Well, it sounds like everything is progressing at least as well as they can be, and who doesn't love free land? So thanks to Cooper for that. Next up was food service. What's going on in the food service world?
Well, Andy Fox of Awe Hospitality reported to the board that our wedding business is improving after a relatively poor year in 2019. So far, he's booked 22 weddings for this year, and there are a number of them still in the planning stages. He continues to tweak the menu at the new Tokwa Sports Bar and Grill, and will start serving breakfast there in early March. Concurrently, breakfast at Tenassi will be discontinued. The Yacht Club will undergo renovations on the bottom floor by the end of February, but the restaurant will continue to operate as usual. And if you've been to the Tenassi Grill lately, and I know you have, you've probably noticed that it too has had some renovations, and it really looks great.
Not quite done with Tenassi. Got some more decorating to do, but in the coming weeks it'll be completely finished. It's most definitely looking good. We have some new carpet to come in the project. You know, keeping up with first impressions is really important to the board and to staff and to property owners, so all these projects staying up to date is really important. Growth in the village,
Beth,
also important.
Beth, as you know probably better than anybody, we permitted 191 new residences last year, and as the year closed, we had 175 new homes under construction, and it certainly has not slowed down. Since January 1st, over 40 new homes have been permitted, and that's really a wicked pace to start the year. It's well ahead of last year, actually. On January 1st, the new residential construction handbook, or the Blue Book, went into effect. This was a major undertaking by the ACC, which is now holding mandatory meetings for builders and subcontractors to acquaint them with the new requirements.
Very, very good ideas and very impressive for the growth. Most definitely manageable growth, but growth is good, but we have to manage it appropriately. Which brings us to finance. How are we doing financially in the POA?
Well, we had a great year last year. Yeah. We executed a $4.7 million capital plan, and it came in under budget. The village generated $21.3 million in revenue and had $20 million in expenses. The resulting net income was $1.3 million, or nearly $1 million better than was forecasted at the beginning of the year. Operating cash is up $1 million over where it was at the end of 2018. And as if that's not enough, for the first time, the village was able to develop a plan that looks 10 years past the current budget year. That's a major step, and it enables us to plan better for the future and assure that we have proper reserves in place to address future needs.
That really is a great accomplishment, and I know that Parker and Kevin are very happy with the results of last year. And I also understand that there's some big changes in the golf department. What's going on in golf?
There certainly are a lot of changes, Beth. With Jim West leaving Tellico Village to join the PGA, golf is undergoing a reorganization. Recently, Chris Sykes was named golf director. Chris has a long resume of running golfing organizations and has a very participative management style. With this appointment, the operation is moving to a team-oriented structure to take full advantage of everyone's expertise. It's an exciting time for everyone involved. One other thing, the POA will be taking over merchandising in the pro shops. They're in the process of setting up vendor accounts and are starting to receive new merchandise as we speak.
Yes, they are. I saw some beautiful new hats just the other day that are ready for
Did
purchase.
you buy one?
And some cups. I didn't yet.
Oh, okay.
Yet. Well, those are some great positive developments going on in golf. Is there anything else that you would like to share from the past few board meetings?
Yeah, there's just one more thing. At our January 22nd meeting, the board approved the 2020 board election calendar. Voting will commence on November 1st, and it will end at noon on November 19th. Election results will be announced at 2 p.m. on the 20th, and new board members will be seated at a special session following the board meeting on December 16th. Beth, thanks for hosting the update, and as always, the PowerPoint slides from the board meetings are on the POA's board page on the website.
Yes. Well, thank you, Rick, and thank you to our viewers for watching this update from the POA Board of Directors.